Hello, good evening. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for watching. My name is Obinda. I want to share with you what I call cultural challenges to business success. Cultural challenges to business success. For business to succeed in any country, in any community, in any culture, there are general challenges. There are general challenges that businesses or businessmen and women would have to overcome for them or for us to see successes. There's a lot of challenges that you have to overcome as an individual, in yourself, in the way you think. There are a lot of skills that you have to acquire for the business to work. And then you come to the environment as well, the community, the country that you work in. There would have to be some kind of some kind of structures, some kind of infrastructure that must exist for a lot of the businesses to succeed. You don't have to have a business in an environment where maybe one out of thousand succeeds in every 2 years or every 3 years. If we were to do a lot of statistics on how many of our business entrepreneurs, I mean the people who are starting businesses, if we were to do any statistics on them and see the percentages of those who are going out of business every year, I think that it would be phenomenal because the challenges are many. The challenges are many and they happen in everywhere. I don't think there is any country that business is really fun and was the way that let's say the people who we sent to school would say we encourage them to go right away into starting businesses. That's not, I don't think there's any country that easily embrace that, that kind of thought. So as usual, as Africans, as Ghanaians, we still, we have, even though we have a lot of challenges in terms of employment, in terms of products that we have to, a lot of business solutions. The country itself, there are a lot of things that we as a people would have to think with business mind for us to succeed. And yet there are serious challenges in terms of culture when it comes to you succeeding as a business person. And part of a lot of it has to, has to do with the mind, has to do with the people, the things that they value and the things that they don't value. So if you take any sector in our economy, you look at it and see how many of our people, that especially those that we have sent to school, at least we say that we send them to school and they must have some kind of refined mind, and so those people should be in charge of a lot of these sectors. So you take agriculture, for instance. How many of these guys that we send to universities are in agriculture? Take construction, for instance. Take retail. Go to Makola and see how many of the so-called people that we train who went to Legon to do business administration, accounting, those people who went to do law, doctor, all kind of things. How many of them have, by mistake, entered into business or go into mining, go into any sector of the economy? A lot of our wholesale importation are captured by people, not not us, come to agro processing or come to manufacturing, come to any sector. Very few. It's not the norm. It's not the norm. And a part of it, I think, is cultural. Part of it is cultural. Some people say part of it was political. There was a time that some politicians tried to destroy a lot of entrepreneurial drive, into industrialists. People had to, it killed. Yes, I agree, it killed some of them. But I think the little ones that are left can also be looked at. So if you happen to have the desire to start a business, you should be aware of some of these so-called cultural challenges and how you work around them, because you probably are going to deal with them for a long time, or maybe at a point that they tend to believe that you maybe have become successful. Because largely our people, for you to succeed in a business, I think that you must have a large heart and a big mind, okay, to be able to accommodate a lot of things and to also to start small. And that is not the normal thinking for a lot of people in our culture. Okay, so especially the people who they send to school, you have to begin this business from a very humble background, and for you to not, usually you're not even sure what you're doing, and It's afterward that you start to understand what you're doing, especially if you had not done any business before, if you had not succeeded or collapsed any business before, and you just finished school after national service or just before, even when you were in school and you were entertaining some kind of business ideas, you had some product, you could do something. You see the way we even call buying and selling, buying and selling. You see the name that we give to it, and you have prominent people in the society, and the things that you hear is, oh, in Ghana, all the business we do is buying and selling. And so all the major retailers in around the world, what do they do? What do they do? It's a whole infrastructure. It's a whole process. If buying and selling is so easy, go and try if you can build Mecom. Or go and try if you can build ShopRite. Go and try. Because it's also a business structure. There's a production. There's a system that you have developed that is made them build all these businesses around the continent. So our thinking of it is that when you start your provision shop, nobody is ever thinking that you can become ShopRite or you can become Mecom or you can become anything. Tell me if there is any major grocery or provision, major retailer in terms of food stuff in our country. No, we don't have that. Why? Because most of the people who we think could do that trivialize the kind of business that the kind of businesses that are able to build most of these multiple chains of retail and of retails. So excuse me to say, but it's all, there's now foreigners who are in charge of a lot of this. Why? It's the cultural thinking. Most countries you go around, at least you have one of the citizens handling some of these things, not in Ghana. And so it's a cultural thinking because most people are looking for jobs. They want to become doctors, lawyers, engineers, and they want to work in multinational companies. A lot of them want to work with the UN consultants. That's what the culture at the moment values and respects. And so if you don't have a lot of the young men and women trying something in business, 20 years to come, you will not have few of them succeeding and becoming big. Because by all means, a lot of them will fail. A lot of them will drop out. A lot of them will give up. But if you have a lot of them starting, then 25, 20 years, 10 years down the line, one of your people will become very prominent in business. And that is not the culture, because the culture is asking you, where do you work? As if somebody was created to create a job and then we should go and look for the work. So the respect for it and the bigness of thinking that the thing that you have started so later, if you succeed, if you keep at it and you continue to go, it will become big. That is not the common thinking among our culture. No, not at all. You want to wear suit and tie and for the people to, even if you go to church, let's face it, the guy who started a business, until he's driving a big car with a big house and the business is nobody respects him. Let's face it, that's it. They will tell you go and look for work, or they will pray for you to get contract. But for you to go through the processes, because really contract is not the way you build business. It's you developing the skill to handle the business, and that takes a while. And so if people are not taught rightly, and the culture is not that patient for people to go through that. If you dare to fail, if your business fails, nobody will respect you. Okay, and yet many businesses fail. Especially we let's face it, if your business is even working, where is the funding? Where is the cost of funding? Look at the kind of people that we have to employ and train. Look at the ethics, look at the expertise, look at the character. A lot of things add up, not to make the business succeed. Okay, so these are things that you have to go through, and you probably have to go through bit by bit and little by little. And the other thing that you probably have to overcome is groupthink. Groupthink is where the society has boxed us, in all of us, to think it's in a particular way. Well, we all judge the issue in a particular way. We all say the same thing. Look, if I'm lying, don't believe me. Just listen to the radio station, or just listen to anybody give talk on any topic. You don't have to be an angel like Obini. You just have to just hear that this is what they are going to say. Why? It's because we are always just interpreting the same kind of information. Listen to anybody who is giving talk or giving preaching or something like that. The topic is the same, the content is the same, the example is the same, and we have produced a group of people who think same. So if you want to start a business, that becomes a challenge because you have to squarely, be opposite to a lot of the group think. Okay, you have to just be the kind of person who is not going to agree with a lot of things that they're telling you, and that becomes tough. And if you don't agree with that, you are going to exert a lot of your energy trying to convince people that what you're doing is right, which should not be the case. The culture should be a culture that is actually encouraging a lot of these young men and women to dare to dream big and dare to try and dare to risk and dare to dare, and unfortunately that is not the kind of culture that we have at the moment. So even if you're daring, they're trying to talk you into be, careful and humble and take your time, and God's time is the best. So that is going to be a challenge for you to succeed in your business. Okay, that's going to be a very big challenge for you because that's not the respect is. Nobody respects that. That's the fact. You have to just have the guts and you have to have the respect for yourself. But for you to look for respect for anybody because you have started business, forget it. They think that you even like money or you're crook. We are not thinking that the Chinese, all the products that are coming from China, they are created by their young women and women who try to do something and think independently and try to think on their feet and create products and services and move them around the globe. He's even cutting cards, just business cards, and he's thinking of shipping them to another country. That's how they think. We, no. We just want to do it small. We don't want trouble. That's the culture that they have given us. Don't want trouble at all. I just want to do my small thing. So when you dare to even start a business, they tell you that, but why do you want to go and do it like that? Why don't you get a job and just do it as a side business somewhere small? That because you are careful. We've been groomed to be careful, not to be risk averse, not to dare. And that is Ghana for you. Maybe that is our strength. I don't know. So I don't know. But it's not going to make a lot of people to dream big and dare and take risk. So your grandmother is always advising you to be careful. Your sister is always advising you to be careful. Your wife is advising you to. Your girlfriend is your husband is advising you. Why? Take your time. Take your time. Relax. Just chill. Life is too short. That's the kind of advice that they're giving us all the time. And those become challenges that you have to overcome for you to build a business that you want to grow and to make it successful. Okay, because the more people are talking you into be careful and to become, because the fact is that where is the success that you have even had for people to even try to advise you to be careful? How much success that we have had for people to even start to advise you to be careful? You've not even started and yet they're advising you to be careful. So it's a cultural impediment that you have to know how to overcome. And we hardly respect structure. We don't respect structure. So people will always jump the line, bring their children for you to employ. They don't care what you have set in place. If somebody is there handling the employment, they don't care. They will just jump them. If you put somebody in charge, their uncle will come and tell them, reduce this, bring them to the house. There's all kind of pressure on people not to be ethical and to be honest. And it's difficult for you to build a structure with this kind of mindset because people don't value organization and order. How people just have to follow procedures so that things can be easier. It's difficult. That's why when they come to you, they want to see you there. So let's say you have 3 businesses. Every one of your friends or every one of your family people, they want to see you at every center. Why? Because we hardly can think that you can set up a business where the structures must work. We can't. We just think that once you are the business. Actually, that's how we understand business, unfortunately. So I open the shop. I don't put anybody there. I have to be there. I have to sit there and take the money myself. I don't trust any of my guests. I don't trust anybody, or they are all thieves. They will steal. Why? Because we've not been taught to think structurally. So if you start a business and you want to grow it and you cannot think structurally and think beyond yourself, because you have got to trust people to do the business. You have got to put somebody there and help them. Even if they steal, some will be left. And so some will be left, hopefully. And so you have to go beyond this cultural thinking where you have to be there. And they are telling you that, hey, maybe it's always almost all the time. Somebody is always telling you, maybe almost all the time. Somebody is always telling you, be careful. Somebody is always telling you, hey, you know. Meanwhile, they didn't give you the money, they didn't give you the idea, they don't even buy from you, they don't even care whether you succeed or not, but they will still be giving you a lot of advice that you don't need. This is the culture that we have. And so you have to see how you overcome them, or your business will not grow to become successful. And every time that we are looking for discount, reduction. If your friends come to buy, they don't want you to, instead of them helping you, some of them you even see what you're doing. Instead of them giving you more businesses, they are the little ones that they bring, they want to slash the price into two. And yet they want you to succeed. I don't know. So it's a thinking, it's a cultural thinking that you have to look at, and probably have to look at how you go around it and to make it successful. The other thing is that there's a lot of demand on your time and on your resources, on your time, on your energy and your resources. The business will need time for it to become a business, and yet they want you to come to funeral in your village, or everybody will invite you to come and go to their father's funeral, and you dare not say all your friends or your everybody, friends, family, church members, schoolmates, political party members, everybody wants you to come for the funeral, and there is always funeral every weekend. So if you have to attend all the funeral, how do you how they want you to attend the funeral? So how do you have time to focus and even think and plan for the future with the business? They don't even understand the business you do, but they still want to advise you. Yes, it's true. Everybody is trying to advise you, take it easy, and some of them will even try to tell you, it's all kind of things. It's cultural, it's communal. We are communal. Our culture is still at the very primary stage. We are denying it, but we have to just make sure that we push it a bit. We should be able to structure this culture a bit for it to be productive, because we the way it is killing dreams. It's killing dreams. That's the fact. It's killing dreams. A lot of things that we have said. It's like, can we become some of these countries that are built? Can we become some of these countries that are technologically driven, that are ambitious with this kind of culture that we have now? Can we? I don't know, because I think the culture should be able to stabilize us, but in terms of us to grow, we should be able to embrace science, technology, engineering, management, structure, the way things are done properly for things to grow. But it's not in our psyche. It's not. And so if you try to apply them to your business, they will see you as weird. They will see you as very much you are very much insensitive. People would want to come to work the time that they want to come. They will, if the mother will even call you that, oh, they will call you. If you allow that, they will run everything that you're doing down. Now, if you're tough, they say that you are not a good person. That's the kind of culture that we have. And if you're a good person and you give one person some chance to say that, okay, no problem, every one of them will take advantage of it, because it is tough. It is tough. And so you have to be fair, and you have to be very tough. The same people who are trying to behave as if they don't understand what you're saying, when they work for the Chinese, they don't do that. When they work for the Americans, they don't do that. When they work for the English in Ghana, they don't do that. They work for the Jewish people in Ghana, they don't do that. They work for the Lebanese, they don't do that. Once they work for a Ghanaian company, if you want to tame our people, I'm sorry, it's unfortunate, but it's true. Just put a Chinese guy in charge of the project, okay? He says he cannot even speak right English, but they will follow him. But you put somebody, your engineer there, he speaks like them. If he's not tough, and if he's tough too, they will come back. They will go around and try to say all kind of stories around him. And if you're not a good manager, you may let go good people, because everybody else is coming to tell you what is not true. That's the kind of culture we have. And yet you have to use the same kind of people. You have to work with the same kind of people to build anything that you think is going to succeed. And it's that difficult. Okay? And the ethics are very low. That's a fact. You have problem with ethics, we have to just look at it. Some of these companies that have collapsed, it's not because the managers were that bad. Sometimes people were giving money to their friends, and they knew they were stealing. You set up a company, you give it to somebody, the ethics, you just have to have a percentage of losses through stealing. That's the kind of culture that we have built. Now, if you're tough and you demand that, they say that you're wicked. And you want to when you want to let people go, their pastors will come and plead for them. Their grandfathers will come and plead for them. The bishop will come. You have to still do, because these things are challenges that you have to overcome to build anything. To build anything. To build anything. Your business, to build anything. So they place a lot of demand on your time. They place a lot of demand on your money. People will ask you all kind of money, especially if they think you have some. You may not have some, but they think that you have some. Especially if they think that the business is making some money. It is their money. When you tell them to come and work, they won't come. But they will come and ask you, or may buy a real until with mama miskaka kradiako at Nako hospital. Now it's always critical, whether they be, it's rent, it's school fees, it's hospital. It's always something critical that if you don't help them, everything is going to go bad. That's the kind of people, that's the kind of culture that we have. You probably have to work on it. I don't know who is working on it, but it's a challenge that you have to know that you're going to deal with this. It does not mean that you should not help people. It does not mean that you should not be humane, but there are things that we still have to. And sometimes, if you grew up in this culture, you may not even see them as those things that are preventing you from succeeding. Those things that are preventing us from succeeding. So that is part of it. And the other thing is that there's not much expectation for you to grow your business. I'm telling you. They didn't believe that you could do the business, and now that the business starts to make some kind of noise, some kind of sense, and you're growing it, there's still that little expectation for your business to succeed. I'm telling you, your friends will be calling you that they have a job somewhere, come and do it. Your manager will be calling you, your father will still be looking for somebody to give you a job, maybe become a police officer or a military officer, or work in a bank or something like that. Because they don't respect what you're doing. That's the fact. And they have very much they don't think that it takes a while for the business to succeed. They don't. They think that the business must work from day one. And so it's a cultural challenge that you have to overcome, especially if your mother had to use all her money to take you through school. My friend, you don't have time for you to go and try the business. No, it's not 2 years, it's not 3 years, it's not 5 years. No, they want to have some money. So if your business is not making any money, if your business is not making money, there's trouble. And they ask, yes, Marie, yes, it's true. They ask for a lot of discounts, from your shop. If it's a Kenyan business and your friends come, instead of us to help the businesses to grow, we are asking for discount. But the same people who go to ShopRite, they will not ask for discount. If they go to Melcom, they will not ask for discount. If you have a construction company you're building and your friend comes for you to build for him, he's asking for rates that you can do the job. But the same person will give the same kind of project to a foreign company and pay double the rate that you are charging, and you have no problem with that. It's a cultural thing. I don't know who taught us that, but it's a challenge that you have to find a way to blend them, because you want them to come, but you don't want them to come and buy, and the next time you have no business, because you still have to pay your rent, pay your salaries, pay everything that you're doing, and still grow the business. So it's a challenge for us, and people will trivialize the kind of a person that you have become as a result of you doing the business. So sometimes you may have been in the business for 5 years, 10 years. People will still see you as somebody who just started the business. So when they meet you, they want to give you the kind of advice that, why are you telling me this? I've endured this for all this. Why are you telling me? And people will just advise you on your money, on the kind of product you should even put in the shop, and they are not doing it. And the kind of people you should employ, all kind of advice. Listen to them, smile, because they are going to come, and they will constantly come. And they will constantly come. They will tell you, you are in it, you are doing it. They are not there, but they will tell you and talk to you like you are novice, and they are the expert. This is our culture that we have. I may be wrong, but these are some of the things that I tend to see sometimes, and I think that they don't help us. They don't help us, because if you're doing something, after a while you become an expert. So generally, people around you should see that this thing you're doing, you have come to know something a little. So there are some things that they should not tell you. There are some things that they should tell you. The very information that you need for it to work, they will hide from you. The things that you don't need is the ones that they will be telling you. And so everyone has an advice for you. Okay, they advise you, and usually the advice is about by the time that you listen to the advice, you become very much afraid and fearful. and very much mistrustful. They will tell you that be careful of losses, be careful of people stealing from you, all those. It's always like that. They are not bringing any idea to explode the business. No, 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 that's not part of it. They are not bringing connections. They are not bringing the next contract. They are not bringing the next thing that you can use to explode the business. No, they are always telling you what to do so that, it's fear. I don't know. It's mistrust. I saw this, your girl, be careful with this girl, oh. The way she behaves, I think that she's stealing. I saw your engineer, the way the car that the engineer was driving, I think that the engineer is stealing. They may have some point, but in as much as you are trying to let me know the bad things, I think that you should also let me know the good things that you can bring for the business to grow. So when people are giving you this kind of advice, it's not that they wish you well, that's the fact. Because those who really wish you well are trying to bring in more. But it's just that they still want to come back to the first feeling which they had towards you, that you don't need to do this. Go and look for a job. That's what we are dealing with every day. No matter how many years that you have been able to do this, whether you're succeeding or struggling, people are calling you every day to tell you that they have a job for you somewhere. Even if you have 30 years, 40 years. And the thing, even if you have employed people, it's a cultural thinking. It's a cultural challenge. You have to overcome it, and you're going to deal with it for a very long time. And some of it will also be telling you, when are you going to go back to school? That one, you will hear it. And it appears that almost every successful businessman must be given a doctorate, something, something, doctor, something, something, doctor, something, something. If you needed a doctor, then just go and do the PhD, Just go and do the PhD. So, why this all doctor? Now you even give footballers doctor. I don't understand this kind of doctor this, doctor that. As if the doctor is the highest of the. I don't think so. I think a man should be judged by his resource, his productivity, not titles. But titles don't mean much, especially in our context where we have a lot of poverty, we have a lot of jobs that we have to create, a lot of problems that we have to solve. The people that we are borrowing from, the people that bring a lot of products to us, their focus is on productivity, on growth, on expansion, on production. And our focus is on accolades. So we are giving a lot of titles to ourselves. So the guy who has done some business that we think that is making some kind of, the next time we call him and give him doctorates, another one we call him and give him doctorate. And what kind of revenue is he getting? Maybe 20 million a month. And people are doing billions and they're still expanding. And because we are cultured into being very much happy with that much little success. We are very much into little success, and that is us. So it's an impediment. It's a cultural thinking that you have to overcome. It's a cultural thinking that you have to overcome as a people, or you will not dare. You will not dare. You will not dare. And so if you want to succeed as a business person, as an entrepreneur, especially those of us who think that we can have a certificate, dust it off, and go and look for a job, there will be a lot of distraction, a lot of disturbances, a lot of things that are trying to take your attention off your focus. But if you don't focus on it, you will not succeed. You will not succeed. And there will be a lot. Family will talk you out. Friends will talk you out. Society will talk you out of your dream. Even if they don't talk you out, they don't expect you to think and enlarge. They don't. They will be advising you everywhere. Why are you doing this? Why are you worrying yourself? This is not for you. If you knew that this is what you were going to do, why did you have to send you to school? It's a cultural thing. It's a culture. You have to overcome that. You really have to study above them to overcome that, or you give up on your dream. Yet we need many of us like that, or the future of our country will be in the hands of those who are taking the economy. You see, the future of the country is not in the hands of the politicians. So that's what they try to tell you. It's not true. It's those who are controlling the money. And how are you going to control the money of an economy? Genuine money, when your people are not in charge of the commerce. You go to any country, the people who are the richest are the people who are giving solutions. They are solving social problems. They are solving society problems. They're creating jobs. They're creating value. That's why they have money. Society pays you for the services that you do for the society. So people who should control wealth in any country are people who are solving problems, the problems that are very much important to the country. So there we have water problems, the people who have businesses in water issues, agricultural problems, maybe food, housing challenges, clothes, employment, people who are solving this, waste problems. Those are the people that the society must compensate. The richest should be those who are solving these problems. In any corrupt society, the richest are those who have money for no productivity. They control money, but there's no proof of how they had the money, because it's a corrupt society. The more society starts to become clean, the more people are paid for their labor. So the people who have gone to school that we need to start businesses, the families should not talk them out of their dreams. If we had listened to a lot of the talks, we will not be doing what we were doing, And anytime that you start anything, just know that these are the things that they are going to tell you, and you shouldn't care. So far as you are convinced in your mind that this is what you want to do, and the fact is that you have to double run with the vision. Don't listen to them. The more you listen to them, you give up. And that's one thing. Business or entrepreneurship or business success, the people around you will kill your dream more than any other thing. The people around you, the conversation that you are getting all the time, the things that you're hearing all the time, those things can kill your dream more than any other thing. If you start a business and the people around you, they are all looking for political position or looking for job, you have to cut that relationship. Go and look for people who are doing the same thing that you're doing. Then you become strong. But if you go and you don't succeed, somebody steals your money, you come back home, you tell you, but we told you, Ghana, business is very difficult or you'll never succeed. That's what they tell us all the time. You never succeed, Even if you succeed, some political party somewhere will come and crash your business. It's fear, people because they heard it one time somewhere, they heard another person say it somewhere. They are always trying to create that panic, and it's part of the culture. If you don't try to overcome this kind of thinking, you will never succeed. It's a challenge in the culture, where people are trying to pick and choose the bad experiences that they had from their uncle, from their father, from their somewhere. They want to tell you that you are going to meet the same thing. And so if you don't work on it, you will not. You'll give up. It's a cultural challenge. Okay. So our infatuation with a lot of education, we are very much happy with a lot of education. So even if you are succeeding, they will come and tell you that go back to school. They will tell you, when are you going to get your master's? When are you going to get your PhD? That's what they will tell you. As if you need a PhD to do business. You don't need PhD to do business. You just need if you can read and write and understand what you're reading, that's all you need to succeed in business. I tell you. That's all you need to succeed in business. If you can read, write, understand the numbers, understand what you're doing, that's all you need. You don't need the masters. You need them. If you want to do masters, it's for fun. It's for hobby. If you do PhD, it's for hobby. It will not contribute that much to a business success. If you need PhD, it probably is for research. It's for academia. That's fine. But when you're doing it, if you don't have very strong mind, they will tell you the little capital that you have, you send it to go and get another education. Go and do law, go and do MBA, go and do this. And meanwhile, you capitalize that little. And some of them, they will even tell you that, stop what you're doing, come to America. That's another major challenge that we have to, always deal with. Because in our culture, even if you're 50 years, your parents will still, or the people who came after you, before you, will still think that whatever they say, you have to listen. You have no mind of your own. So if you don't listen, trouble. That's why people who succeed in business are people who didn't have a lot of these people around them. Nobody was there, so they just had to fight. Because if somebody was there, if your father was very much present, if your father is a doctor, your mother is a doctor, I tell you that you can start a business in Ghana. That's a fact. Unless you're very much stubborn, a person. If your father was a lawyer, your mother was an accountant, they don't expect you to go and start a business. That will never work. They will tell you no. That's a fact. They will tell you no. You go and you say your father is what? Some of these names that they mention. Go and look for their children and see if their children ever tried anything. No. No. No matter how much vision you have, no. So those who try to just do anything is because nobody was there anyway. So by chance, you just have to try something. Probably you just So it's the culture. It's that strong. It's that strong because the parents think that they're right. The parents think that they're right. Meanwhile, the child, the boy, he finished Legon. He's in the house. He has no job. You have told all your friends to get him a job. He's not. He goes there, they sack him. and this boy is trying to do something with himself, why don't you encourage that boy? Because after all, that boy is separate from you. He's more than 18 years. He has got to create his own life. But no, the parents will say that I was a lawyer. You have to become a lawyer. I was a politician. You have to become a politician. I'm a pastor, so you must become a pastor. Whether you like it or not, go and do the work of God. This is the kind of culture that we live in. And so, if you're a business person, you have to know. And if you want to become one, these are the things that you are going to hear. Okay, you are going to hear that. You are going to hear. You just have to find a way to overcome them. Or you give up on yourself. But it's doable. It is doable. It is doable. It's doable because you constantly upgrade your knowledge, constantly study. You have to go for the best of knowledge. Best of knowledge. You cannot build a business knowledge just by reading the Bible and graphic. No. You cannot build a business knowledge by just listening to political talk shows on radio and listening to preaching. No. This is an expertise. You cannot become a doctor. Parents who understand, I don't know. Maybe I didn't have one, so not in that country. So you just have to find a way to constantly develop yourself, because if you succeed with a business, you create a lot of value for society and for yourself, and you always be passionate, and there's a lot of freedom that comes with it, and you should embrace for all the challenges that come, because beyond the cultural challenges, there are other challenges that run through all kind of businesses, so just be there and be ready to fight through, because no dream, the big ones that change not anything, will easily be accepted by people who are around you. No, they will not accept that. No dream that anybody around you will just accept that. Oh yes, go and do. Very few people will ever say that. Yes, my son wants to do it, and so he has my full support. Very few. Maybe Marie, yes, maybe. Very few. But if they were that much educated, highly educated, I doubt. And if they were much involved in your upbringing, and they never had any taste with business, and you say that you want to do business, hey, I don't know. Maybe it's right. I don't know. But it could be tough. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching.